Hi, it's Jen with SRT Astrology. Welcome back to the channel. Today, me and Bean here, who I think is trying to be famous. I don't know, that could be what his new moon is doing for him. But we are talking about the new moon in Pisces at 20 degrees Pisces, 17 minutes. And that takes place on March 10th. So this new moon is smack dab in the middle of the applying conjunction with Saturn and Neptune, which is actually on the midpoint. So I don't usually work with midpoints that often, but with this being the last lunation before the eclipse season comes up, this one I thought was really telling and really relevant. So quickly about midpoints. So midpoints are the points exactly in the middle of two planets. So pretty self-explanatory, not so hard. The chart of the new moon has the sun and moon almost at the exact degree of the midpoint between the applying conjunction with Saturn and Neptune in Pisces. So I removed some of the planets here just because I kind of focused on the ones that I was going to talk about today, and I just don't have all the room because everything is really concentrated in this area. So the moon would be here, conjunct the sun. That's the new moon. So this is between Saturn and Neptune. So between what is concrete and what is abstract. So concrete, that's Saturn. Abstract, that's Neptune. So this spelled out really nicely in the astrology. We know the energy in April is intense. So this is preparing us for that reset. So getting the midpoint is bringing the energies together. So the energies it is bringing together are those of that serious, that, plan ahead kind of Saturn, and then that Neptune kind of that go with the flow and like we don't know what's going to happen and just like let it be. So it's bringing those energies together and giving us a glimpse, planting a seed, you know what new moons do, of what's to come with this conjunction that is actually going to not be exact until 2026, but it's moving that way, so the energy will start ramping up in that aspect. So Saturn is again preparation. So Pisces rules the feet. So first, we need to get a good footing. So Saturn is giving us that good footing in Pisces. It provides that stability that can be difficult in Pisces because Pisces is that mutable sign. It's that uneasy footing. It's like walking on one of those like moon floors that's just all squishy and you're just kind of, but this Saturn is giving us that footing that we really need. But the new moon, puts that Saturn to work. You got to be disciplined. You have to have self-restriction because you know how Pisces can be. Pisces can, start some, bad habits. It can start some, addiction, some escapisms. So you want to be disciplined because you're not going to be able to move forward if you're constantly, trying to escape. So instead of escaping, we want to be more in reality and have that good footing that Saturn's going to provide. So, it also is going to help us to not be pulled into that Piscean escapism, we're going to be grounded, responsible, moving forward, think of that Pisces Glyph. And I found this the whole thing in this astrology I thought was so telling. So it's two fish tethered together. That's the glyph for Pisces. So you can easily drift away, but because of that tether, it's keeping them together. So that is kind of what's happening with this midpoint, this new moon midpoint that is tethering the Saturn and Neptune, just completely different energies. It's tying them together. Saturn is preparing us for what is the unknown, and what we know, what we've been talking about is going to be happening, but we really don't know. Like we see there's going to be a reset, but what exactly? Neptune, and that's that unknown. And how do we get ready for this? So how do we this reset, this change? that we're really unsure what it could be. You know, we got to prepare for the unknown. Saturn, Pisces. So the mutable energy ending this winter season with this new moon is more of like a culmination instead of kind of a start. It's an ending, Saturn preparing the way for a new beginning, the unknown, and that applying aspect to Neptune, all just spelled out, I think, perfectly anyway. So, in preparing us for what's to come when we get into that April, which is going to bring tons of change. So be prepared for things to be exposed, because we also have Mercury moving into a sextile with Pluto. I don't have Mercury up here, but it's moving into a sextile with Pluto, which is secrets being exposed, things brought to light, messages coming, emerging from their hiding place. So that is things that were once kind of repressed, now becoming out in the open. So also what you put your mind to, so this is Mercury, so this is all our mental capacity, our, you know, what we're putting our mind to, we can actualize with deep concentration. Now this is going down deep. This is Pluto. This is a nice sextile. So with deep concentration, we'll be able to focus more on serious topics rather than just those trivial things that aren't really important, that usually kind of fill up our time, fill up our minds, but you can kind of push those aside a little bit and focus on those serious topics and really get down to the nitty gritty. Being here is a camera hog. Normally super shy, so he's exposing himself, coming out. You know, usually anyone walks into the house, he hides. No one even knows that he exists. But oh, there's Bean. There he is. So you can easily, again, be swept away as you're pulled down into that rabbit hole. So when you start doing digging, when you start looking into things, that Mercury in Pisces, or Mercury sextile Pisces, or sextile to Pluto, Mercury sextile to Pluto, it's really drawing us in. So we're really doing all the work, doing all the studying, getting all the information that we can. But remember that tether, when we get lost down that rabbit hole, we're going to be able to get us pulled back in. It's going to keep us from that point of no return, pulling us out before the riptide comes and just takes us away. So we also have the new moon in a sextile with the applying conjunction with Jupiter and Uranus, and we also have it opposite Lilith, and that is the black moon Lilith. So the new moon sextile to Jupiter and Uranus, that is that free-spirited, open, unique, wanting to release our individuality. Again, that liberation comes up, that I want to be liberated. I want to be me. This is that whole energy that's going on this year with the new moon, and you know, Pluto in Aquarius, and so much Aquarian, Piscean, like, I'm sick of hiding, I'm gonna be me, whatever that is. And you know, I'm going to try and be accepting of other people, whatever that is. And people are really coming out and showing themselves and showing their true colors and not caring what people think. It's kind of past that. That's all passé. So you want to release that individuality, that originality to the world. This change is coming. And as soon as the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction in mid-late April, after the eclipses, I think it's on the 20th to be exact. So after the eclipses, that is when we're going to start seeing things, and we're going to start really seeing things coming, you know, and that abrupt, big changes, big happenings. So we have that new moon also in opposition to the black moon Lilith. And now, I've done a video on her before, but I'll give a little explanation. So Lilith is our kind of inner wild side. It's that which we repress. She is the lunar apogee. So she is farthest from the sun. And we tend to keep inside her dirty little secrets. And this is the point in our charts where we hide our secrets, we hide what our true selves are, or what that we think might have us almost be ostracized or kind of ignored or outcasted. So what might make us feel uncomfortable to share with other people. Something that maybe happened to us when we were young that, we were harmed by it. So maybe something that people teased us about, or something that happened to us in our youth or even in a past life that still is that, that almost kind of like embarrassing, dirty little secret, like I said. So Lilith is like the nodes, the north and south nodes. So it's not an actual celestial being, it's a point. It's a astrological point. So Lilith is a woman of power. She wants equality. So she is the mother of monsters. She was actually ejected from Eden, or she chose to leave. It really depends on which myth you're kind of listening to. There's a few different ones out there about her. She was Adam's first wife. They were actually created together out of the mud, and she wanted to be equal to him, and she thought she was equal because they were created equally, but he wanted to be the dominant energy. So because of this, she either chose to leave or got exiled, pretty much, from Eden. And then Eve came along, made from Adam's rib, and that made her a part of him and submissive. So we have Lilith is that dominant female force that wants to be equal, that doesn't want to be inferior to a man, she's sexually uninhibited, she's independent, she's not submissive at all. So this is in your chart, wherever this is, so definitely get your charts up, check it out. So this is, again, where the inner wild child comes to play. It's that thing that we repress. So because she also represents that part of us that we feel we need to hide, we hide away in fear of becoming an outcast. We may feel self-doubt. We may be insecure over these inner desires, over these feelings, these thoughts. So expressing these could be like giving birth to these monsters, giving birth to the monsters, like she was the mother of monsters. So, in a way, it's kind of like you're giving birth to this, and how are these monsters going to come back? Are they going to come back and harm us? Or are they going to harm other people? Or what are they going to do? So I can relate with this energy a lot. I have Venus in my 8th house, in Leo in my 8th house, and I have Lilith in Scorpio in my 11th house. So do with that what you will. You can pretty much kind of figure some things out there. So of course we all have our demons, but I feel this new moon has us wrestling with these desires because of the opposition. So if we have the new moon here, we have Lilith over here, down in Virgo. Virgo, that is that kind of pointing out things that might not be quite right, that feeling like we're not perfect, that feeling of imperfection that's really holding us back from expressing ourselves. So that feeling of when we try and we work to be perfect, we work to look perfect, we work to be perfect. If you are that type, and if you do have all this energy happening in mutable houses, you'll probably feel that a lot more than everybody else. So the things that we're repressing because that might expose our imperfections. So no one wants to expose our imperfections. No one wants to show others, our weak sides and where we might not fit in, where we might be different. I know that my whole life that doing astrology, that doing tarot cards, that liking some of the things that I liked wasn't the norm, and I was very different, so I did repress a lot of that. But now, look at me, I'm out here just, putting it all out there, and I don't really care. Like, I enjoy it, I love it, I want to spread this knowledge to everybody so that they see what's coming up and they can kind of work with this energy in their own way. You don't even have to get your chart, just kind of know what's coming up and say, okay, well, I think this is happening, so this might be why I'm feeling this sort of way. But if you want to get your charts up and get a quick little reading, find out about your Lilith, for instance, send me an email at astrotheastrology@gmail.com and give me your birth time, place, and date, and I can shoot you a little email. Just say the one little topic you want to focus on. I can email you back with a quick little video of what it's all about. So, again, going back, so you may be scared when people find out about your desires. You may be scared to let these feelings out. You may be afraid that you're going to be outcast, that you're going to be exiled, that you're going to be, we're exposing what we've repressed all this time. But think Saturn conjunct Neptune. So Saturn can, represent that outcast, that faraway, cold, dark place, that, that point of exile, that, kind of Siberia there. That's kind of the feel of Saturn and what we are afraid of, because nobody wants to be exiled. But Neptune is that mystery that we just don't understand. So this is the change. Saturn can give us the footing, again, to move into the unknown and just be able to just be free with ourselves and be liberated. So choose to do what you want with this information. Do what you will. If you want to let that out, then do it. But repressing things is always going to be just that itch that you can't scratch, and there's always going to be something there that maybe if you are with a partner, don't forget, Lilith is that liberated, that sexually liberated, sexually open. So if you do have that part of you, you might be repressing it. And if your partner doesn't know, then you can't use it to your advantage, or just to your pleasure anyway. And then your partner, you don't want to just give in to what your partner wants, to what the world wants, it's kind of a very Libra-like thing to do, which is something that I've done my whole life. You kind of want to do everything for other people because you don't want to rock the boat. Well, that is this Lilith kind of feel. So it's almost like when you find it in your own chart, you're finding where you are repressing that energy, and it can be used and it can be read in a few different ways depending on what house it's in and, of course, what sign it's in. So this we have in, in Virgo on this collective scale. So collectively, we're going to have this perfectly imperfect kind of liberation, hopefully. So I think it's going to be, really exciting. I think because this month is kind of like a slow build of what's to come, and we don't know what's to come, then why not? Why not just go for it and see how it all plays out? Find your Lilith, find, your dark side of the moon, and, keep in mind that sextile of the applying aspect to Jupiter and Uranus is encouraging us to liberate, to be free, be original, don't be afraid, be yourself, be true to yourself. That's the person, first and foremost, that you should be true to. Once you're true to yourself, you can be true to everybody else, and people will appreciate you for who you are. You'll be able to appreciate them for who they are, and all will be right in the world. So if you'd like more information about that, and how this can affect you, again, contact me, astrotheastrology@gmail. Put a comment. I would love to hear what you guys all have to say about that. Remember, of course, to like, subscribe, and get notified of future videos coming up. And of course, I would encourage you to tell a friend so we can all grow together. You gotta tell a friend, Bean. Yes, Bean's gonna tell a friend. So I hope to see y'all soon. Bye.